Hello and welcome to the Year of Shame 2023. And now, let's go balls deep and meet this week's presenters.
Now recording.
Welcome to episode 8 of the Year of Shame Challenge 2023. I am your host, Cy Stevens, and joining me this month is Mr. Ross Grieve.
Hello.
Mr. Gav.
How are you doing, guys? You okay?
And because we're no longer playing the drinking game of Dave, of when we mention him, because we'd all be in the fucking hospital, we have the mystery guest this month of Dave. Mr. Dave Southall. How are you doing?
All good, all good. I should add that when we say we're not playing the drinking game, we are actually doing a beer tasting while recording this. So if things go downhill quick, you'll know why.
I
used to be teetotal until I started playing with you cunts.
And there's the first C-bomb.
We're allowed 4, aren't we?
Yeah, there's 4 of us this time. 4 of us this time. That's a fucking miracle, isn't it? That's...
I just thought, we started last year and Neil pledged that he was going to put money into a swear jar, which never materialised, which is probably why he's still got a house at the moment.
No, it's all right, Dave. We pledged to have 4 hosts every month, and that's went by the Bayside as well. So
at this point, I should pull off my mask. I am, in fact, Jayce Stokes.
I say it every month. Maybe I'll slip in halfway through the recording.
So, how are we all doing, gentlemen? How are all our piles and things of what's new in the world of yours?
Oh, mine's are falling off day by day.
Not too bad. Same old, same old.
Mine's going in reverse.
I'm sure we'll get to this, David. You're now out of the wilderness of the Year of Shame, so your piles are getting bigger and bigger again, I would imagine.
Yeah, they're proper knobby styles at this point.
Like, we've just got our first host for next year.
Okay, so let's start by a little different. Let's have a couple of questions to start it off. So, Kyle Dixon has asked if you have played remakes where content has changed rather than just being a graphical spruce up. How do they compare to your fondness of the originals? Also, please talk about the PS Porto impressions. I can see from these faces that this is something that's not happened.
I was just going to say, it depends on whether it's the original studio that's done it. If the original studio has done it, and they do something they had in mind, but were perhaps limited graphically in the original, I think that's fine. But a remaster or remake just has to be a graphical spruce up, doesn't it? Otherwise, I think you run the risk of it ending up like one of the Star Wars prequels and not the good ones.
I mean, you know all about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That's like an example.
It's a graphical spruce up every year.
No, but
Well,
I mean, actual Modern Warfare. You've got the remake of it, and that wasn't just that was like effectively a new story, new voice cast for the most part. They've done that with 2. You've got 3 coming.
The multiplayer is using the same maps, and they're changed slightly, but ever so slightly, just to reflect the new weapons and the ways of playing it. But it is essentially the same maps. The weapon classes are broadly the same, so it is just really a spruce up rather than trying to reinvent the wheel on that. So I think that's why it works quite well, or at least it does for me anyway. And opinions vary.
The only remake I think I've ever played was Gears of War. They remember they did a new edition for, was it the Xbox One?
The Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, that's the only one I've played, but that's because I'd never played like the first Gears of War when it was around. So I don't know if that was just a graphical spruce up or it was an adding content type deal. I mean, I think you only find it's a graphical spruce up and all the DLC included, and I tend to avoid those sort of remakes because of that, because they've already had my money for the game once. And if you start playing games over and over again, that's when you start becoming hosts of the Year of Shame.
I was going to say, I've got a good few of these to mention, because Atari have been doing this recharged editions of their games. So there's things like Missile Command, Centipede, Yar's Revenge. There's loads of them. And they are more or less completely new games, which are very loosely based on, well, not very loosely, they are based on the old games. But to all intents and purposes, they're new games, and I absolutely love all of them. As you know, I'm a complete retro head, so yeah. And another one, which I've been playing quite a lot of recently, is Llama Soft, Jeff Minter. They did a complete remake, and it is a complete remake. It's effectively a new game of Aka R. Now, you won't have heard of Aka R unless you're a complete arcade fan, because basically it was a prototype arcade machine, and there are only 3 arcade machines of it ever made, really. And it didn't do well in testing. There's an interesting story that the only way you could get it on MAME now is because somebody went in there to do a refurb, cleaned up all the chips and stuff, and just dumped all the chips while he was in there on one of the machines, and that's why the ROM exists. But yeah, that's a newly released game, and it is a complete new game. So yeah, Aka R, highly recommended.
See, the only remake I can really think of that I've played is Need for Speed, and I want to say Hot Pursuit. I think we played that on a few Fridays. That's going back to, I think that was originally, was that PlayStation 1, PS2? One of the PlayStations? It ages old anyway. Obviously that was a completely new game. And I'll be honest, I can't really remember fuck all about it other than having some fun on a Friday. I do have one other to try at some point. We'll come on to that in a bit. What about Demon Souls, Dave? Was that? No? Did you play that last?
Yeah, that is as close as you're going to get. But again, it's more or less a spruce up, because everything that was in that is in the original. It just looks a damn sight better. I suppose you could say the same with the other Dark Souls as well, couldn't you? There was the Dark Souls 2. They did that Scholar of the Souls, Scholar of the something edition, which was just like a remix of it. And then they came out with that Dark Souls Ultimate Edition recently. But it's all the same content, so yeah, the content didn't really change. It's the same game.
Well, what was the tail end of that question? PS Portal impression?
PS Portal, I've just looked to see what a fucking PS Portal is, because not a fucking Scooby.
I don't get the point of this. You could do this on any phone or any tablet, and you can pair a DualSense control to it. So what's the point?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm just scanning through, and it's just like a controller with a screen, so you can link into someone else's, or a PlayStation in your house.
Yeah, you can't even. There's no like online streaming or anything like there is with Game Pass or anything.
It's just a remote player.
Just your own. Yeah, that's it. Pointless. Just saw a control in half and stick it either side of a Wii. Done. Sorry, Switch.
I think what you're meaning is it's pesh, Dave, is what you was trying to say there, yeah?
I don't see the use case. It's pointless.
No, and it's not a cheap, what is it, 200 notes?
200 quid, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not going to be, I don't think any of us are going to be jumping on that one. You need a PlayStation to start with. And also, then, my son's got a PlayStation 5, so technically I suppose I could get that, and then I take it streams what's on his PlayStation 5. It's not like he can play one game and I can play another. It's like we're playing the same game.
You're basically just accessing that PlayStation for wherever you may be.
I suppose they might add, like, the equivalent of what PS Now is, with the higher tiered PS Plus subscriptions. They might add that down the line. I think they'd be an idiot not to.
There used to be something on the PC because I remember this for the PS4, that you could stream your PS4 to your PC as long as it was on the same network, and you could also do it remotely. If you were off in a hotel or something, you could like stream it to a laptop.
Yeah. You can still do that. Yeah.
And can you do that with a PS5?
Yeah, there's a PS remote app.
So if you've got a PC, that makes it even more.
Yeah, but if you sat on your PC, why are you streaming your PlayStation? Just plug it into the monitor and play it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking along the lines of like my PC's in the same room as the TV. So if the wife was watching something, I could still play the PlayStation game just by streaming it to the PC. And then I suppose if you can do that at the PS5, I can do the same as the Portal with a PC, that I could stream my boy's PS5 to my PC.
But the thing is with that, this use case, I don't know if it applies to anyone else, but if I tried playing a game while I was sat in the same room with my wife while she was watching telly, she'd be like, go and bugger off, or don't do that while we're doing something.
See,
Yeah.
as long as I got headphones on, I don't talk with people.
Yeah, I mean that's why I come out into my little shed. It's like
We established this last
Oh.
month. I don't do people.
yeah, definitely not something I'll be. Well, I've not got a PlayStation 5 anyway, so that's kind of a moot point. But it's not something I'd even fucking consider.
I think if anything, you're going to go and buy a new controller. Go and buy a new controller. Have 2 controllers. Is this where we are in the world now that if you're doing coach co-op, you want someone to fuck off into a different room?
Well, no, not for couch co-op. It's in the name, surely.
Yeah, but this is what I'm thinking, because that's the only thing I can think of. Why? What's the point of it then? It's to play the game in another room with someone.
It's so you can play on the toilet, isn't it? That's why.
Yeah, fucking hell. That's why God invented a pause button.
Not that I condone playing games at work, and I've never done anything like that ever.
What about on the toilet at work?
Never.
Never.
I don't use the toilet at work.
Seeing as I've worked at home for the last 12 years, not a problem.
He just rolls the commode.
We're going to move on from that question, because at this rate, we're going to be here till the fucking 31st of December with this one episode. Kev Atkinson asks, what is your go-to movie? When everything else just isn't good enough or you're not in the mood, what do you watch? For him, it's Star Wars A New Hope. Okay? Oh, it's New Hope, so it's episode 4. That's not too bad. And more recently, Ready Player One. Dave, what's your go-to movie?
Probably Aliens, to be honest. Aliens or Pulp Fiction normally give me a good, or some sort of music documentary type film. They're just normally on rotation.
Sure. Gav?
I love V for Vendetta, mate. One of my favourite films. Really enjoy that. So it's good. You can watch it again and again, and still good.
And Ross?
I'm going to go with the backup answer, which is Terminator 2. The actual answer is Legally Blonde, but crack on. I fucking love Legally Blonde. I don't know why. It's just fun.
For me, it's not a go-to movie. It's one of those things. It's a movie that if it's on our watch, whether it's been started 4 minutes ago, an hour ago, is The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, nice.
I can watch that. No matter, I wouldn't even sit down and watch it, but like flicking through, it's always on fucking film 4. If you get to film 4 at some point, you got a good chance of seeing The Shawshank Redemption. And no matter what point it's at, yeah, that's staying on.
Yeah, I've seen the ending of Shawshank about 50 times. Quite a lot of the sort of Friday nights I'll go in after like Gears and Beers, go in. The wife's fucking sat watching it again because it's been on TV when she's been getting ready to go to bed.
I think it took me about 4 or 5 times to watching it before I actually saw the beginning of it. Okay, so let's move on to our pile progress. We all seem to think they're falling off, apart from poor old Dave, who's getting worse by the day. So let's start this off with you, Ross. What have you knocked off your pile this month?
Maybe 4 or 5 piles have just been licked. Obviously, I was halfway through Gears Judgment on the last recording, so we finished that off, and then went straight into Gear 4. Went straight through that, and we're now over halfway through Gears 5. The other side, that's sort of our co-op nights. If I've got time on my own, which I've had a little bit of lately, I've actually, a certain Mr. Watley basically shamed my shame, having not actually put on my PlayStation at all this year. So I booted up Spider-Man, which I think I was maybe about 4 or 5 hours in it. And then I just fucking went balls deep, blasted through it, full story. Never done all the collectibles and shit because there's a fuck ton and I really don't give a shit because there's not a nice achievement point associated with it. Trophies are bollocks. That said, after Spidey, I finally booted up Ghost of Satsuma because I cannot fucking say Shushia. Ghost of Tsushima. Again, that was kind of off the back of Watley. He had messaged and said something like, because I've got 2 copies of it, I need to play it twice. I was like, Kim, what? It's probably time. So I put it on and I did not stop playing. I was playing it when I really shouldn't have been playing it. I'll let you guess when that was. But I put something like 60 hours into it in the space of 5-6 days. And that's all nice and finished. But what a fucking game that was, man. That awesome. One of these games that after Elden Ring, I kind of fell off of the whole open world games side of stuff. It was just all these maps. I mean, even Spidey got a bit boring towards the end. Just this fucking massive map covered in icons. But Ghost of Tsushima, that was just perfect. I went and done as much as I could. There's a couple of shitty wee trophies that are left over, but as I say, I'm not that hung up on them. But yeah, what a fucking game, and that's me for the month.
Nice. Well, you mentioned Gears there. What do you think of the new Gears trilogy?
There's Gears, so it's awesome.
I knew there's an element of people that just like it's not Gears, but
They're different. Character wise, I'm not that hung up about the sort of mainstay, which is Kate. I mean, she's got her story, but Gears for me is always the original sort of 4 Delta Squad.
Right.
Even to the point with Judgment, it's like you've got half of them, but you need Marcus. He is Gears of War in my book. And if they kill him off, a fucking riot. If they kill Cole, a riot. They can kill anybody else. I don't care. But
have you got to the snow levels yet in Gears?
Oh,
5?
no, I've played Gears 5 before. I'm doing this co-op with a mate.
Ah, right, okay.
So yeah, there's a certain boss in those snow levels that's a brilliant boss fight. To the point, I think we actually went and helped someone else out one Friday night when we were sort of very, very drunk.
I think that was Stella.
Yeah. Because Stella had been stuck on it and playing it on a stupidly hard difficulty that you just shouldn't entertain as a first playthrough. So I think it was me and Monty jumped into our game, not realising that it was only 3-player co-op, because that's apparently a cool thing to do these days. So I went the dude, and Monty got stuck as the wee robot going about while there's this big fucking horde matriarch thing running about smash. It's like try fucking throwing coppers at the fucking Hulk. Bing.
Talking about that weird robot, you know, right at the start of Gears 5, it's a different robot called Dave. I just thought the game just knew my name at that point. It was freakish.
You thought he was saying the You're Ashamed drinking game?
Yeah, even Gav's finished Gears 5. You know, one of the 5 games he's ever finished.
I think I remember that snow level boss that we played. I think I was playing it with Dave, and there was a lot of swearing involved, a lot of resets and reloads. And
talking of which, Gav, that's one that we really have to get done. We have to finish that last DLC, the
Hivebusters.
Hivebusters. That's it.
That was I've done Hivebusters just when it came out, but let's say I'd never done Gears 5 or 4 in co-op. Whereas Gears 1 to 3, I mean Gears 3 was one of my first midnight launches, like shorted buying the Xbox 360 at midnight launch. Gears 3 first game that I actually went and stood like a fucking twat outside the game station waiting on it opening. And the best part was I already had the game because it got delivered the day before, but I went for the wee competition and multiplayer that I lost. Should have sent Phil.
And what about you, Gav? How are those piles?
I'm still loving the COD Modern Warfare 2, mate. Just finished the last season of that. They've now started the last one just before they're gonna kick off Modern Warfare 3. To be honest, I've been having some fun with some DMZ nights with Matt Spinks, because I hadn't really tried that game mode too much. And before it was just full of cocks and twats and assholes, and but they seem to have sort of dissipated off back to Warzone and Fortnite, so it's just really enjoyable at the moment. We're having some really good fun on there for a couple of nights.
Those twats and assholes were replaced by another couple of twats and assholes.
Yeah. So the balance was still, maintained. Other than that, still plodding my way through Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I'm surprisingly really enjoying, actually. I know it was suggested to start with some other ones, but I sort of decided I'd pick one that sort of appealed to my favourite sort of historical period and stick with that. I'd be more likely to stick with it. So played a little bit more Jedi Survivor, not a lot. But also had some fun on Among Us, which is still just fun and hand-to-hand and good fun, particularly when you're pissed.
Can I just chip in there? I checked Gav's gamer scores yesterday because I thought, how's he doing on his Joker, Jedi Survivor? Turns out he's actually got 15 more gamer score in Peppa Pig than he has on his Joker.
Oh, shame.
The things I do for Microsoft points. That's all I'm saying.
How much has he got in Peppa Pig? I'm wondering if he's got more on Peppa Pig than I got on my Joker.
80 gamer score on Peppa Pig and 65 on Jedi.
But if Ross knows how easy it is to get gamer score on Peppa Pig, that's what he's playing next.
I'm not fucking touching Peppa Pig. Why would I play Peppa Pig? I'd rather play Paw Patrol. Thank you very much.
Okay, now this is probably a weird kind of question because we're going to say you'll be available to buy all the new games you want now, Dave, but I can guarantee you've bought all the new games from 1982. So, what have you been playing recently?
I've had quite a good month, really. I've again, obviously, most of these are quite new. I'm going to knock the retro on the head, apart from Akaar, which I mentioned earlier, which is a new game. So starting off, I saw Exo Primal on Game Pass. Got into that. I absolutely adored this game. I have sunk huge amounts of time into this just because it's a game that you can play for a quick blast, and then there's been a lot going on at home lately, so it's been perfect for just a quick wind down. Basically, if you don't know what this is, it's you're dumped in a level with 4 teammates, and there's also an opposing team of 5 players, and you play mech suits, and you define a role. You're either a tank, a DPS, or a support. And then basically you have waves and waves and waves of dinosaurs dropped on you. Yeah, the plot is absolutely ludicrous. It's brilliant. So you fight along, like, basically racing the other team through this, like, PvE trial type of thing. And then when you get to the end, if you're a bit in front, you can sometimes summon in a giant dinosaur to bring against the other team. And then you end up having, like, a PvE fight at the end over some sort of objective. But as you play the game more, and I think a lot of reviews and a lot of people who've been slagging this off haven't actually played more than an hour or so, because you very rapidly see changes in the game. Like, you get 10-player PvE missions, and you get things like, they're basically like mini raids from Destiny that you all do together. It's absolutely superb. I love it. It is monetized to hell, but you don't have to spend a penny. I haven't spent anything at all. So yeah, brilliant. Love that. Completed that. Done the campaign. Done the story. Unlocked all the things. Still going back to it. Still playing it. They still keep adding more to it. So I'm going to keep playing. Second one, I posted about this on the group, but I went back and played the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. Now, this is the weirdest game to describe of all time. It's basically, you do the same thing over and over again. You sort of wake up from your job and realise everybody has left your office building. So every single time starts again. You do exactly the same thing, but
It's unlike
the
my work,
decisions
Dave.
you make, yeah. But there's a narrator talking over the top of you the whole time, and he'll be saying, "Stanley turned left at this junction," and you can either turn left and follow what he says, or you can just not, and then the narrator just absolutely starts going off on one at you. And every little change that you make to this routine through every day, every scenario, it just gets weirder and stupider and more outlandish. It's absolutely one of the best games I've ever played in my life. Nothing is like it. Nothing, no other game. Incredible. And I don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't want to spoil anything if anybody's playing it. But yeah, I really belly laughs in that game.
How's your gamer score on it?
There's 2 achievements in it I am not getting. One, I may be dead by the time I actually get it, because it's not played the Stanley Parable for 10 years. Is one of the achievements.
Oh, was this the one that was in the group chat of how to set your time on your PC?
Well, you can do it on PC and other things, but you can't do it on the Xbox. And then the other one is play the Stanley Parable for an entire Tuesday.
Yeah, I think I did read with that one. You can do like multiple Tuesdays. It doesn't have to be like one whole Tuesday. You can do like 2 hours each Tuesday for 12 Tuesdays.
Too late. It's gone. I played another Game Pass game, of course, called Venba. Now, this is a nice story about a couple who moved to Canada. It's about their life growing up, and it's basically an Indian cooking simulator. I have never, ever been so hungry after playing this game. I was starving after it. Just a really nice story. Really interesting mechanisms of you cooking the food and stuff. It's just not for everyone, but a brilliant like few hours to just pass by and enjoy. Like the next one, which is A Short Hike. This is like a game where you basically play a penguin exploring an island, flying around, talking to people a la Animal Crossing, doing some parkour and some basic platforming. Just very short, very lovely. Highly recommended to anyone that can play it. Lovely. So the fifth game this month is Planet of Lana. This is, I think it's made by half, the other half. One person made, I can't remember what it's called. It was like Limbo and Inside, and you went through Glastonbury and things like that. It was on Game Pass. Anyway, doesn't matter. So this is a 2D puzzler, very nice, very light and bright, this one. Not too scary for the young ones, certainly not as grim as Limbo or Inside. Highly recommended. Again, not too long, fully completed that one. Go and play it if you can. Next one, Jedi Survivor I was going to touch on. Although Gav hasn't been playing it, I have absolutely played the balls off it. I did the full 1,000 gamer score on that, which took me 3 days, 20 hours. So I played a lot of that game. And the last completion was just a couple of days ago. I wanted to complete it before it came off Game Pass, and that is Tinykin.
Yay!
Yeah, I know Ross has played this through. This is basically like what happens if a platforming game, It Takes Two, and Pikmin have a baby. It's a shame it's just going off Game Pass, because I recommended this to quite a few people, and they've all started playing it and said how much they love it. It's wonderful. So yeah, I blasted through that. Some of the, you have to collect pollen in various places as well, which is some of the collectibles, and they are hidden in the most utterly demonic, evil hidden places. It took me a long time to find those. So there you go. That's a quick blast. My total for the year, by the way, because I asked you the question last month, I have finished 31 games this year.
Them's fighting duck. We're pretty much neck and neck, I think. What was I think I'm at 32, 33.
Yeah, but yours tend to be long epics like Ghost of Tsushima, and mine are things like Cook a Curry in Vemba.
That's what I fucking love about your sort of the games you're playing. It's all just totally fucking random. There's no like, it's not just one genre. There's like,
that's what gaming is for me. Gaming isn't like just playing a first-person shooter or shooty bang bangs. It's playing everything. One week I could be playing a text adventure. The next one I could be playing a VR dancing game. It's just games to me, all of them. Dabbles, again, I was touching on this. I've got right back into like the Jeff Minter Lamatron type games again. So AKR, Tempest 4000, and I dug out a 16-year-old XBLA game the other day called Space Giraffe. This is like Tempest, but I've never understood how to play it, but it suddenly clicked. 16 years later, I finally got an achievement in it. So I'm quite happy now.
see, there's hope for the Stanley Parable yet.
There's also another game released this week. It's an arcade game, a very obscure arcade Atari game called Quantum, where you did a trackball and you sort of draw lines around things. It was an old vector screen game. So Atari did one of those recharged versions of that this week, which I've not picked up, but I've firmly got my eye on. But I was absolutely convinced that Jeff Minter and Lamasoft were going to be making that. But now my money's on, I think they're going to remake iRobot. So let's see. A gentleman's sporting bet. Diablo 4, Ross's Joker. I'm going to swear quite badly, but fuck me, that game is boring. It is so boring. It's the first Diablo I've ever dropped off. It's just grey. It's dull. It's never ending. It's plodding. I don't like anything about it. I've actually uninstalled it.
You know that Kath McCauley's just taken a contract out on you now.
I've loved all the other Diablos, but I just hate Diablo 4. I just think it's really, really boring.
It's like you go back to when it first came out. Everyone, like everywhere you looked, Diablo, and I know they made some poor decisions around balancing and stuff. But right now, when was the last time anyone, like even on MLG, when was the last time anybody mentioned Diablo?
No,
it's just,
really.
meh.
The only time I enjoyed that, I'll tell a lie, is when we had those two parties running. So we had two groups of 4, and we were all in the same chat. We weren't playing together; like two groups were separate. But that was really fun. I have to say that was really fun, but I didn't have a clue what was going on. I couldn't follow the story because it was shit going off everywhere. You can't play the game through like that unless you stick together and stuff. But yeah, that's the only time I enjoyed it. Straight after that, I just lost the will and it got deleted fast. Anyway, I loaded up Cyberpunk last night, actually, because I wanted to see how it plays. Because those games come over the weekend with a lot of coming soon stuff and things. It showed the Phantom Liberty DLC for that, and it just looked unbelievable. It was like watching a film in places. I couldn't believe how good it looked. So I thought, is this real? Is the Xbox version going to live up to the PC? Yeah, pretty much. It looks unbelievable now. It plays well, so I think I'm going to get back on that horse now.
You kiss goodbye 100 hours.
Last two, both more mech games. I bought a remake of, it's an old, did you ever play a SNES game called Cybernator or Assault Suits Valken? It's basically a big heavy mech 2D shooty game. Really great. Been playing the remake of that on the Switch. And the last one is a brand new one from FromSoft. I've only played I've technically played 2 hours. I've played an hour of the game, which was up to the first boss. It's got a boss that is going to make people rage quit and throw the controllers through the screen. The first boss. It's hard. Anyway, so I killed him after an hour.
Dave, what's the game called?
Armored Core 6. Oh, I'm sorry. And then for my second hour of playing, was just me trying to make the MLG badge as a decal in the game. I've got it mostly done, but it basically looks like a big knob in a circle at the moment. So yeah, I need to get that finished. Anyway, I think I better stop there now because my list, as always, is never ending and could go on all night.
Okay, then. So there's no point asking me what I've played because it's the middle of fuck all.
We're still in the downer.
Oh, yeah, totally. I booted up. I literally started playing a game this afternoon because I thought, well, I better have one game to speak about, and that was Motorsport Manager. And I played it for an hour and went, yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a Formula One management game, which, I mean, fuck me, Formula One is one of the most boring sports in the world. It's just literally watching cars going round and round in circles, and it's like...
Unless it rains, mate, and then it's just, random.
Right, yeah, then it's random, but then this is a computer game, so it's literally just watching little graphical cars going round and round and round, and it's just like, yeah, that's as boring as shit. So, yeah, the downer still continues.
I mean, that actually sounds a bit more entertaining than actually going to see Formula One, though. You get to see 20 cars every minute and a half.
I did notice that Sai has now revealed his Steam profile.
And my profile was always there, it's just you wasn't my friend.
Even when you were your friend, mate, it wasn't available.
Well, I can't remember changing anything other than my friends. I think I actually did it through the show. I was looking through the settings and I was like, no, that's fine, that's fine. It's like the only thing that was that my profile is only available to friends. And it was just like, oh, fuck's sake. But yeah, my profile's available and it's still not many fucking games being played.
I think if you're still in that glut, mate, I think there needs to be a poll going up with some suggestions of what
you and your fucking polls. Fucking hell. Yeah, the downer is fucking full on. Okay, the only other thing that I have been playing, and this is how memorable it is it was basically a ditched, was Mark of the Ninja, which was a remake, which kind of leans into that question from earlier about playing remakes. Goes to show how fucking memorable it was. It was ditched after about 20 minutes. I remember buying the original on, is it the Xbox Arcade, when it was points rather than money values on that system. It was one of the Arcade of the Week games, and I think I picked up for like 800 points there, and I played about 20 minutes and thought, this is shit. So when I bought a PC, I thought, oh, I've never finished that. Let's buy that. And then I played it last month and went, yeah, I didn't play it because it was fucking shit.
It is not shit. Simon, have some strength to power through. I reckon as soon as you break the seal, you'll be well back into the games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it. And it's normally one game catches me and then it's like, yeah, definitely. And then I'm all back into it. But I've always had this problem of, if I've played a really good game, everything I play... I mean, I'm even like it with TV shows. If I watch a really good TV show, every TV show that I watch afterwards is like, nope, can't be asked for this. And I'm the same with games. It's like, nope, not grabbing me. Nope, not grabbing me.
That's why I do the thing of, anytime I play a big game, I have to play a huge slew of palette cleansers, just completely different. What Ross was saying about playing different genres and things, I can't go from one big game to another big game. Just can't do it.
I've never been like that. I can't play multiple games. It's like, like you guys are saying, oh, I played this on a Tuesday and I played this on a Friday and I'm playing this game, and I can't do that. I've literally got to play one game, because if I try and play a second game, the control system goes out of my head for every other game that I've tried to play. And
well, you can take Dying Light 2, for instance, that me and Gav have been playing now. How long have we been playing for months?
2.5 months.
We only play once a week.
Like
yeah. Every single Tuesday, it's, how do you jump? How do you do this again? How do you do that attack? So it's basically like Alzheimer's for half an hour.
This is not just me, mate. This is Dave, and this is our other mate Gaz as well. Everyone forgets something. How do you use a grenade? How do you use a med kit?
And it's like, I think I've played the tutorial of games more times than any game developer has expected you to play the tutorial of their game.
If a game's got a skip tutorial option, I skip it every time. I don't think I've played a tutorial that I didn't have in the last 10 years. I was just, and that's why I get to the end of games and then discover that if you press B at certain opportunities, you get a unique move or some shit. You know, one of those. I'm sure it's been posted like a few times in MLG. It's like, what is something you learned about a game way after you finished it or something? And the amount of times it's like that was in the tutorial and I fucking skipped over it.
Okay, so let's ask a few more questions before we go on to another section. Blair Ferguson has asked, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He's asking for a friend. Well, technically, the official answer is compared to beavers, groundhogs or woodchucks are not adept at moving timber, although some will chew wood. A wildlife biologist once measured the inside volume of a typical woodchuck burrow and estimated that if wood filled the hole instead of dirt, the industrious little fucker would have chucked about 700 pounds worth. Mr. Dave Packer has asked if any of us have a circulation-based ailment in our name, e.g. Jason Stokes.
Now, I didn't realise it was just a circulation ailment, so I tried to make one out of my name. But I couldn't really find one. But I did find on Urban Dictionary that Thal is short, as in Southall, is short for having 3 balls, a third ball. Always good to have a backup.
Adam Edwards, the great Adamski, has asked, have you ever had a hiatus from gaming, no matter how brief? And if you did, what went in its place?
A lot of fucking moaning if you're Psy.
I don't see it as a hiatus because I'm still trying. I'm trying to find that game that's going to reignite it.
Yeah, but you've got to actually play them. I mean, you could say I'm trying to tame tigers, but I'm not actually doing anything.
I'll tell you what's really hard at the moment is because there's one game I really, really want to play, and I know that if I do, that's the challenge over, and that's Football Manager.
No, stay away from managers. Bad
That's
managers.
exactly. That's my problem. It's like I really want to play it. I just want to play it. And I'm like, I just want to play it for half an hour. I'm sure if I play that for half an hour, it'll clear the palette. I'll be fine. But also, I know before I know anything, it'll be the 30th of November.
But there is an MLG Fantasy League if you want to join that, mate. It's pretty much the same thing.
I mean, is that does that count as a new game?
No.
Because apparently we're really anal about rules.
I was just going to say, I did actually have probably a hiatus from gaming of about 8 years or so. After leaving uni, I didn't really play a lot of games until I got an Xbox 360 free with a mobile phone contract.
You just get all of your Xboxes free, Gav. Have you paid for one? Can we just...
The last one I
just
paid
confirm,
for.
yeah.
The last one I did pay for. But no, I had a hiatus until I started playing FIFA Online with a mate of mine. And that got me back into gaming in a big way.
I've never had even a slight break. Apart, I suppose, from when I was an early teenager, I gave it up slightly to discover Girls and Cider. But but no, that's about it.
But no, it wasn't a voluntary hiatus. Basically, when me and my now wife first got a house together, we were quite poor, so we had one very old TV, like proper widescreen fucker, with the wee guy inside it actually operating it for you because it weighed that fucking much.
Ross, we know you're only about 23 or something. Was this an old CRT or was this a flat screen?
Oh no, it was a CRT, you cheeky bastard.
I don't know, I'm just asking. I'm from the old days when they weighed as much as a car and were sheathed in wood.
This TV, to turn it on, we had to stick a matchstick into the power button, like because it was a physical like when you turned it on. But anyway, I mean, you could still play games on it. You had to tune it in like old school, like analog pish. But because just timing and stuff, like that was in the living room, didn't have space for another TV, so my Xbox was there. If the wife was home, the Xbox wasn't on, and it wasn't until like maybe a year later when we bought a house, and I got my first little game room that I really started back up on gaming again. So I mean, you're only talking about a year, and I was still playing, just not as much as I really wanted to. I just watched a lot of shitty soap operas on TV, and it was quite depressing.
What you need is one of those new Sony handheld devices.
Was that where you got your liking for Legally Blonde from, mate?
No, that's self-inflicted, man.
Julie she's asked 2 questions. So firstly, do you know what the first game you are going on the first? I'm sure that's what. Do you know what's the first game you're going to buy on the 1st of January is?
I reckon Dead Island 2, or possibly You're a Wizard, Harry, but without Harry. Or maybe Jedi Survivor. So much!
I think I haven't got one set in stone yet for the 1st of January. I don't. I think it's going to be dependent on what games are what priced in the Steam Christmas Winter Sale at that point.
Yeah, I will say I am 100% buying the Vampire Survivors DLC because it pains me that other people have maxed that and mine's is sat with a not full gamer score.
That'll only cost you about 14 pence, though, won't it?
Yeah, I've had a look. It's like £1.34. I'm like, surely that doesn't account for Year of Shame. It's £1. I can't buy anything for £1. But nah, I mean, even the Cyberpunk DLC, because that's got to be fucking. Does this even work? I feel like I'm coming out of Year of Shame and I've got more to buy than I would have bought if I wasn't doing Year of Shame.
And secondly, Julie has also asked, soundtrack of your gaming lives. Do you remember that? What's your favourite gaming track?
What a fucking throwback.
Fucking hell, that's Darren and Matt.
Circa 2010?
Yeah. Before we did chiptunes.
That was still in. No, I wasn't. I was just out of college and working.
So, gentlemen, what is your favourite gaming track?
Favorite gaming soundtrack has got to be Gran Turismo 2. Just list the stuff on there. Oh, mate, come on, you had
Better than Grand Theft Auto 80s. Forgot what it's called.
Yeah, but you had Ash, Manson, Stereophonics, Cardigans. Yeah.
See, Dave basically just stole my answer there. For me, it is a
Vice City.
It is a toss-up between Vice City and Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah.
That was just fucking great tunes on it.
Oh, that was an amazing soundtrack.
I think my favourite 2 game soundtracks is probably Borderlands 2. It was just brilliant just for ambient. I have that on while I work quite a lot. Just brilliant soundtrack. And again, oh god, I'm such a Llamasoft fanboy. The TXK or Tempest 2000 soundtrack. Yeah, I have that on a lot. It's proper sort of cheesy 90s disco. It's great.
So I will interject there that my favourite TV spot with music, it's got to be the original Gears of War when Mad World came on. I mind actually seen that for the first time in a cinema, and that sold me Gears of War. Like, that was just fucking.
I really liked what was the name of it? I say this almost every month. It's one of my favourite games, and I can never remember the title of it. It was one with the TV show, Defiance. Yeah, Defiance. They used, I think it was Imagine Dragons Radioactive for a live action version of their trailer spot. That was a really nice trailer as well.
I think it's a bit of a cop out. The ones with real band. I think you've got to pick one that's like an original soundtrack, really.
We'll add a link to it in our show notes as well. But I know there is a Spotify playlist called "Soundtrack of Your Gaming Lives," and it is every single track that was ever nominated in Midlife Gamer. I think that answers that question. Okay, next up we have the Year of Shame ex-host interrogation section. So we've got questions for you, Dave. So, yeah, well, you didn't think you were going to get away with this easily. So, first up, what, if anything, did you learn from your Year of Shame?
That I really like buying games. I play way too many games. I really like talking, and I have a terrible accent.
So, not much then.
No, nothing. Complete disaster, really. It just made me buy more, like a rabid addict.
Okay, that was the next question. Did it change how you bought games? Oh, you're fucking psychic. You're answering questions before we ask them.
I only buy bargain now, so I won't buy anything full price. No, or pre-orders or anything. But yeah, a combination of buying things via a VPN and Microsoft points means my actual spend is very, very, very low.
As your piles resurfaced, I think we've discovered they pretty much have.
Yeah, I'm clearing them off though. To be fair, not like you slackers who don't play anything. At least me and Ross are keeping the fire burning. You've got 60 odd games to catch up to pick up with me and Ross. So get to it.
And what was the highlight of your year? That was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last year. It was easily just having, a monthly natter and all the stuff, behind the scenes where you're chatting in your groups and things like that. It was just such a laugh doing it with those guys. I love them.
Nice, that's excellent. Can you remember if you had a Joker? Did you use a Joker last year?
Oh yeah, my Joker was predetermined though because I bought Elden Ring already. I 100% knew it was going to be Elden Ring. So come March, I spunk my Joker.
I remember
and
that episode because it was
no
literally
regrets.
alarms after alarm after alarm, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And then Matt did, and I think Neil did actually as well.
I think Joe was the only one that didn't buy Elden Ring on his Joker.
He didn't use his Joker at all.
Hardcore bastard.
And was it worth it? Do you still play it?
Well, no, because I absolutely smashed it and platinumed it, and I helped lots of the community do the same. So yeah, I love that because it was such a communal game, even though we weren't playing with each other all the time. It like co-op. Yeah, it was just constant discussion, and watching each other on streams, helping each other through, tweaking builds and stuff. It was just brilliant.
Yeah, basically, that's what I was hoping for when I spunked my Joker on Diablo this year, and it was for like the first 2-3 weeks. It was like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but it was nothing to the level of like Elden Ring. I mean, fucking even weeks past like everyone, like the sort of, you had your sort of first wave of everyone finishing it, and then it got on a bit. Then you had like the likes of Watley streaming it, Spink, he was streaming it, and it was a constant flow, and it was getting to relive it again. It was brilliant, just watching people go through what you've already been through.
One of my favourite nights on Elden Ring was it was St George's Day, and Watley was streaming it, and he was stuck. So I dressed up as like a knight with a lance. I actually had to go and find a lance in the game and level it up and everything, so I could join him. And I joined in as it's George. And then we went round and we slayed every dragon in the game with me, just absolutely powering in. It was just brilliant. That stream was.
One of our questions were, what have you been playing this year, Dave? But we're not going to get you talking for another 2.5 hours.
This year, Christ help you if I started down that route.
Go back to your sort of 1st of January splurge. What was your sort of best purchase that you had missed? What was your favourite from everything that you bought come 1st of January?
I'll tell you what it was. Easy, this one. And I didn't even buy it this year. I bought a copy of Dying Light 2 the year before just before I started the Year of Shame. So I knew that I was going to have Elden Ring as my Joker. And so even though I'd paid money, the key, because the game didn't come out until my Year of Shame was happening, so I decided that it wasn't valid, unlike some people, Destiny, that I would honour that. So when it rolled around, we were really eager to jump on that, and that has easily been the best thing. And I didn't even buy it this year. Like I said, I bought it in 2021, so that seems a long time ago, but that's the best. And then I think easily Jedi Survivor after that is the game I've enjoyed most, just because I liked being in that world.
Come back in 2 weeks once you've played Starfield, hopefully.
I don't think it'll hit me the same, because I just really enjoyed messing about in Star Wars world.
I mean, part of me is, I was hoping, this is probably hope more for us with Starfield than we've just hoped it's going to be a fucking bug-ridden mess for a couple of months. Oh no, it's Bethesda, it's going to be, isn't it? If it lasts a couple of months, that's going to put us to November, and that would be the nice time for us to pick it up.
I mean, you can't do something on that scale without it being a mess, can you?
I mean, as you say, it's Bethesda.
I've kind of got an issue with Starfield.
It's not released in January.
No, I technically own it. Well, there's no technicality about it. I do own it. So it was my birthday last week, and for the first time ever, I didn't get one game. I got 3. So I'm at this kind of conundrum right now, where one, do I say fuck yous all? Because it's rude. I can't turn a gift away. So I'm not going to say what the third one is, but I have a copy of Dead Space. I have a physical copy of Dead Space, and I have a digital copy of Starfield, and it was the super fancy edition, which we're obviously 4 days away from, and I'm fucking torn, man. I didn't want to be the guy who says I got 3 gifts, I'm going to play all 3 of them.
Well, I think this is very much similar to that Dying Light 2 episode that I was talking about. Although you have it, you're choosing not to play it, so that's not breaking any rules. You might have it to hand. You could keep it. I'm sure you'll be playing Starfield anyway until January the 1st, so go with that.
What I think I'm going to do, so I'm going to do Uncharted 4 next, sort of keeping up with the PlayStation thing, and then that leaves me with a single game on PlayStation that I've not finished for my pile. No, 2, sorry. I've got Days Gone, which is almost done, and Bloodborne, which I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to fucking finish. So I don't know. I do want to do Dead Space 2. That was one of the ones on my list that I was wanting to finish or start, because I played the original Dead Space. I've played Dead Space 3 because that was co-op, but I skipped 2, so I did have that as one of my ones for this year. So I think I'll do that first before I even think about bursting the cellophane on this boy. There's just the toss-up with Starfield and something else.
And the final question we got for you, Dave. Now that we're 3/4 of the way through our challenge, have you got any tips to get us through the last final stretch?
Make use of your gifts. Get Ross. Honestly, just go through your pile and just keep playing them. Just chuck them out if you're not interested in them. Doesn't matter. Bin them off. Play something else. You'll find something that hooks you in. Honestly, we've all got so many games. You never have time in your life to get through them all anyway. So just play what you got.
Play some
just play
fucking
old
games,
stuff.
Simon.
Yeah, that's the tip. Play a fucking game.
What you need to do, Si, is just play a load of random Dave shit.
That's what I keep saying to Si though. Join in on a Friday night. Just figure out what the fuck we're playing. Join in, and that'll kickstart something. It will.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We'll be forced to play.
You said last week that you were worried about doing badly on something. We do badly every week. It doesn't matter at all.
Badly, so very badly.
Yeah. Anyway, to answer your question, don't worry about the new games. It doesn't matter. They'll still be there at the end of the year. They'll be cheaper. Just plow through and see what takes your fancy. Don't worry about it.
Let's move swiftly on. We got more questions. Some quack called Dave Southall has asked us. Purses are tight in today's climate, so what game that you paid money for has given you the best bang for? Why am I asking this question, Dave? You're fucking here.
So purses are tight in today's climate. So what game that you paid actual money for has given you the best bang for buck of all time?
I can answer this first off. The Division. We played the shit out of that game. Although it was a AAA title, it wasn't that expensive for the amount of time we played it. Easily bang for your buck in every way.
Mine's Borderlands 2. Hundreds of hours.
I didn't pay for Borderlands 2. That was a present from my mate Dave. But mine, I'm going to. I think goes back to a previous recording. SOCOM 2. No, just on pure hours to pound ratio. I had well over 2,000 hours on SOCOM for, I think it was like a 50 quid buy-in with the game and the headset at the time. And if it wasn't for SOCOM, I wouldn't be speaking to you chaps today.
Okay, I'm going to throw it up completely. Bang for buck. The game cost me $1.99, and I sunk so many hours of my young life into Manic Miner on the Commodore 64. Spent so many hours playing that game. And I think I wore the tape out at one point and had to buy it again. I sunk quite a lot of hours. The first year we did this, I sunk over 100 hours into Skyrim. And I didn't get past the second quest.
God, Simon,
It's-
what are you doing?
I was
There's your
fucking,
next game.
I would explain this on the previous episode. I went into a loop of crafting.
Oh, I've never done. I hate crafting in everything. I try not to do it ever.
This is before I realised this, because it's like, I'll do my crafting, I'll get my armor up, and I'll get this up, and I'll get my sneak up. I was 100 sneak before I'd hit the first village. Because literally I snuck from where you escaped right round the loop.
Sorry, let me give you some advice on this, right? I used to be like that. I used to think I've got to get as high as I can in everything. No, play games the opposite way. Try and do everything as low as you can, what you can get away with, and I can guarantee you will have way more fun on everything trying to get through.
Well, this is my point.
Honest to
It
God.
doesn't work on Skyrim because everything levels up with you. But yeah, I had spent quite a lot of hours and did very fucking little in it. So I don't know if that's a bang for buck thing. I spent a lot of time. So time wise, I got a lot of worth out of it. But actual completion of the game, not a fucking lot. So what have we missed and what's coming out soon? Let's combine those two because we are cracking on with this show. Samba de Amigo Party Central on the Switch.
That sounds like a Dave game.
That does sound like a Dave game.
I played the original Samba de Amigo with the maracas and everything on the Dreamcast a great deal of times.
I was going to ask, was that the Maraca game?
I actually had a look at that. It looks pretty awful because it's got all that newfangled music, and I'm now 50 years old. So yeah, it's
and
a
also
note
no
from me.
maracas. Sea of Stars gets released in 2 days' time from when we're recording this.
That looks absolutely phenomenal. Looks brilliant. It's just a modern day JRPG. Can you even say JRPG? Is that rude to say these days?
It's a genre. Are you supposed to say a Japanese RPG now? Aerospace 2's next. That's something. It's on something. It's on games.
That's already on Game Pass. That was out on Game Pass on PC a while ago. That's now on Xbox. It's very good.
So it's just been added to all of the Game Passes then. Starfield Early Access is coming on the 1st of September for Ross. Baldur's Gate 3. That's a remake,
I may have
isn't
bought
it?
that as well. Sorry.
It must have been PC then if you bought it.
I was about to say, that's been out for a while, hasn't it, or something?
No, it's only just come out. It's been in early access for a long time. If you're a fan of creative gameplay or like pen and paper style RPGs, get it, because you can do ludicrous amounts of crazy things that you wouldn't really think a game would let you do. You can do it. It's great. It's like having a generous games master while you're playing.
Every one of these games, Dave, you're saying we should get it. Have you realised we're on this fucking challenge where we can't get it?
Exactly. I'm trying to make you cry, damn it.
How long did you spend on the penis slider on Baldur's Gate?
You've actually got a choice of penises, not just a slider. Did you know this? You can actually pick penises that you have. It's awful.
So you cut or uncut?
I went for mid-table, to be honest. Being a Wolves fan, that's what I'm used to.
Oh, there's such a good comment about going down, but we'll leave that as... next up, we got Rugby 24. Didn't play the other 23 of them, so we'll skip that one. Super Bomberman R2.
We've played that on the online version on Friday night. Yeah. And then they killed the game after I bought Season Pass so everyone else could play. In fact, I organised a community night for that. We had about 20-odd players in at one point. That was good fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it's the same thing. Bomberman R and Bomberman R Online. Who knows?
Next up is the Crew Motorfest on the 17th.
Forza Horizon.
It's not Forza Horizon. Yeah, that's it. It's on the Xbox as well. I was going to say, is that Sony's fit version of Forza Horizon? But
I think the Crew's Ubisoft, isn't it?
Yeah, Ubisoft, yeah.
The one that why Ross is umming and ahhing about using his Joker for Starfield, that is because we've also got on the 15th of September, Baby Shark's Sing and Swim Party.
This has got Gav and Gamer Score written all over
Fucking
it.
hasn't
The
it?
things I will do
I-
with Microsoft
need-
reward points.
Now this one I am quite interested in. I did flew under the radar. We mentioned it a couple of months ago when we watched trailers and that was Lies of P.
I played the demo and it basically is Bloodborne. So there you go. It's Bloodborne.
Pinocchio does Bloodborne. We've reverted back because we're doing Mortal Kombat 1 in a couple of weeks' time.
I would definitely like this, but I'm not going to get it because I've still got the last, what was it, Mortal Kombat 11? I've still got to get through the story mode of that, and I haven't. And Street Fighter 6 exists, so you know. However, have you seen the extra characters for this? You've got Peacemaker, Homelander,
Yeah.
and is it Omega Man? What's his name now? I forgot.
From Invisible.
Yeah,
Invincible. Yeah.
Invincible.
That guy. JJ.
So it's a DLC fest then.
It's the fact they've announced all the DLC characters before the fucking game's out. That still boils my piss. Like, it's like, yes, buy the game and then give us more money for the other characters.
Yeah,
Although,
will not buy full price if it goes cheap, as they always do.
Next up, we got Hellsweeper VR.
Hellsweeper.
Hellsweeper? Hellsweeper?
it's a cleaner in hell. It just sweeps all the ash away.
Aye.
Well, until the Oculus Quest 3 comes out, no VR for me.
Yeah.
See,
I was expecting an announcement for this year for that, but
Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. It'll be done before Christmas, surely.
It doesn't account if I buy it because it's for my laddie. I'll not play it until January.
I want one just so I can set up an emulator and I can basically walk around an arcade on a Friday night.
You can do that on a Quest 1.
I haven't got one of those though, have I?
Yeah.
I've got PSVR and that's it.
Yeah,
I'm sure you could pick up a Quest. The original Quest is starting to like not be supported, so like all the titles are like if you've got what you've got now is that's it. You're not getting any new updates. But it still works, but I tend to use it just to plug into the PC. So if you went on eBay, you'd probably pick up one for like dirt cheap now.
I'm going to get a new fancy one when it comes out.
And fancy screens, and I want. People keep talking about playing Among Us in VR. I think that'll be a good crack.
There's a game that we've played a couple of times. It's called Demio, and it's basically like an old school RPG. Roll your dice, move your characters, and you can play that in VR. So you pick up, move your characters. We've been, a couple of us just played it on normal screens. I can't wait to play that properly.
Does stuff like that let you say? Because I think it's you, Neil, Monty, and someone.
Did.
Could you play that in VR and then play normal, or would everybody play in VR?
Yeah, you can.
Next up, we have Payday 3, released on September 21st. Is that on Game Pass?
I think that'll be a great laugh because Payday 2 was janky as hell, but it was really good fun. It's like Left 4 Dead with criminals, with objectives, co-op, good fun.
And gold and shit.
Next up's the Cyberpunk 2077 expansion, The Phantom Liberty.
That looks really good. Really.
Won't pick it up immediately, but I think Ross is the only one who's finished Cyberpunk.
Finished, rinsed, full gamer score.
I can't remember where I am each time, so it's just like waking up as a drunk in that city. Brilliant. I'm just basically playing a tramp.
Oh, I mean, is that not how the game starts anyway? You've not got a fucking clue who you are.
Yeah, I'm just role-playing, just fully role-playing.
Next up, we have what my boy has finally forgiven EA for the last couple of months because he just dropped 90 quid of his own pennies on EA FC.
How much?
90 fucking quid.
Do you not pay that much if you want to play the Ultimate Team version, which then requires you to spend ungodly amounts of money on packs?
Well, basically, the EA FC Ultimate Edition was $89.99. You get a load of shit that you can't trade when you get the game. You get a week's early access, which is fuck all. But you also get 4,600 FIFA points, so you can buy packs, which was, I worked at the price of the FIFA coins, and it would have been about 30 quid. So it's like, okay, so technically you're pre-ordering your first a lot of FIFA coins, and you're getting a load of extra shit you can't trade.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure that my rewards points are going to go on this.
FIFA, really?
only-
Well, not FIFA.
Only the really basic version. Though.
Is it
I don't want any of that.
cross-play, though? Because they were talking about it when it was FIFA.
It's fully cross-play, this one.
So it's like, it doesn't matter if your Xbox, your PlayStation, or your PC.
You can even play on the Switch. They've done an actual Switch version this time and not called it the Legacy edition.
Well, there's no fucking Legacy, is there, this time?
Exactly. But this is the base, obviously, for the next 5 years. That's what you're getting on the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, no updates necessary on the Switch. Oh, that's interesting. I would like to play it on the PC. And next up, I've never heard of this one, RoboCop Rogue City.
Oh, this looks good. I like the look of this.
It looks janky as hell, but you know.
Yeah.
For those of us of a certain age, we just want to be RoboCop.
I've spent many 50p's in the arcade playing the arcade version of RoboCop.
I have not spent those 50p's, but I have played a lot of that arcade game.
I mean, I'm thinking back to the Amiga version, the sideways scroller. Oh.
That was the arcade, wasn't it? The Amiga was the arcade port.
Yeah, it was a conversion of the arcade game. Yeah, unbelievably, the Spectrum version was really good at that. Weird. But yeah, this has got that certain amount of jankiness that was like something like... Ross, I think you've played Terminator... Is it Terminator Salvation?
Is it? I think I have played Salvation, but is it no the same people that done Resistance?
That's sorry, Resistance. That's the one I'm thinking about.
It might not be the same devs, but I think that's what it's been compared to.
That's getting a revamp, by the way. There's going to be a new next gen super duper version of that. So if you've got that game, you get upgraded automatically to it. You have no choice.
See, that I approve of. It's when they try and sell you it for 70 quid.
No, it's basically because they released a ton of DLC on the PS5 version, and they moaned so much, the fans, that they went, okay, well, here you go, you can have it all for nothing on the Xbox. Yeah, two legendary franchises there. I think, like I said, those of us of a certain age, we have an irresistible pull towards them.
That's everything. That's us. That's the month done. That just leaves us to do the domestics. And as you're the guest here, I'll leave that for you, Mr. Southall.
Is this revenge for me for getting you to do it on the blah bar?
Fucking right it is. Yeah, Jesus.
Now I haven't got the notes in front of me, so I'm going to make it up. There is a Facebook group which you've probably found us already from there. There is a YouTube channel. I don't know the address. Just search for Year of Shame Challenge. There is a Discord for Midlife Gamer. You can find us on there. Again, no idea how to find it. Oh well. Just type things into your local search engine. Could be Bing. Could be using Bing AI. Could be Bard. Could be anything. That's how you find us. Thanks, Internet.
Thank you very much, Dave.
All I was going to say, Dave, is thanks very much for joining us this month. It's been really nice to have a fourth person here.
No, I don't think we've got anything else to say.
Right.
That's us for the month. We'll see you next month. And say bye, gents.
Bye, gents.
Bye. Cheers, all.
Well, this is the end. We hope you enjoyed the show. And if you didn't, tough titties.
Baby shark, do 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 do.